Hi everyone, this is Michael Velez, going over my PowerPoint for Inclusive Leadership for Fort Hays State University, AEP 855, Educational Leadership, Module 5. Sorry for my voice and demeanor right now. I'm just battling getting over the flu. So it's been a tough couple of weeks going on here, but hopefully you like my PowerPoint and can understand what I'm saying. And if not, I apologize again. But here we go. So first thing I want to talk about is what is inclusive leadership. First, we have to know what inclusion means. Being a teacher, even though I'm a phys ed teacher, inclusion has been, a big topic lately. I know when I was going to high school and my brother and sister, there was no inclusion for students that had different learning disabilities or behavioral problems. They were sectioned off into schools and had their own self-contained classes. And now the motion is inclusion. We want to keep the students together. It's going to promote their learning. It's going to help their learning, and overall make their life a lot better. So with that being said, inclusion is being fully responsible for your contribution to the ultimate result. Then we need to know what leadership means, which is a functional practice required of all stakeholders where individuals are fully responsible for their contribution, internally committed to assessment and growth, and outwardly committed to a culture that invests in the same growth for everyone. Long story short, the culture. The leader is trying to build the culture of their organization, their program, their school, their district, what they want to be known for, what their values are going to be going forward, and who is going to, address those values and take those into themselves for the betterment of the common goal. And then we have the overall definition of inclusive leadership, which is the practice of leadership that carefully includes contributions of all stakeholders in the community, organization. So we're valuing everyone. No one is, set to the wayside and saying that their, contributions or values or opinions don't matter. Now we're going to talk about inclusive leadership in organizations in the community. The community that I'm going to speak most about is my school district, so a school setting. But this model can be applied in all levels of the community, whether it's the private sector, whether it's, the government, it doesn't matter. School settings. All individuals that are involved in the daily functioning of the school system should be valued and involved in the decision making. As a school leader, I would want to hear input from all my staff, which is classroom teachers to specialists, and undoubtedly the most important individuals that are always seen last are the custodians. At the end of the day, there needs to be one common theme and vision. And then the first quote that I liked from Posner and Cruz was that the leader must show their trust in others in order to build their trust in the leader. I've been in 3 different schools in the last 8 years, partly because of not liking the leadership and not, feeling comfortable in what the overall goal was of that district, where, principals and superintendents and supervisors, were never seen. They were hiding in their office, and then you get emails of this is what needs to be done, and this is what you're not doing, and all of these things from top to bottom, but there was no guidance, no help, no family aspect of it where, they're worried about us, but no, they're worried more about them and what they have to do, and making sure that they're crossing their T's, and dotting their I's. So I just had to leave, and now I'm in a district where, there is a principal, but he's like one of us. He's always in our classrooms. He's walking around the hallway. He's never in his office, just sitting there and, hiding away. We have a faculty meeting every Monday of every week. whether it's something to go over that's integral to, the school, or whether it's just to get together and talk about what's going on, how's everyone doing. I think that says a lot about, our principal's character and how he is going to, or he is including all of us in, what makes up the school. There are two types of models for inclusion leadership, which is the individual and the organization. The individual model is based out of 4 principles, which is his philosophy, breakthrough action, results, skills, and competencies. And of course, that's for the inclusive leader, the individual. Then you have the organizational model, looking more from, a company or district-based model, which now you have on the outside the inclusive leader. You have breakthrough action again, you have results, of course, and then you have the institutional competencies, making up that inclusive organization. You can't talk about inclusive leadership without having diversity. That's pretty much what inclusive leadership is, accepting all that is within your program, your organization, or your district. By having that, you can capture a competitive advantage from changing demographics across the workplace and in the marketplace. An organization with a reputation for inclusiveness becomes a magnet, attracting top talent. Excuse me. If diversity is the mix, then inclusion is the mix, working by leveraging the wealth of knowledge, insight, and perspectives in an open, trusting, and diverse workplace. I think that's very important, last sentence there. In an open, trusting, and diverse workplace. The workplace should be diverse. It shouldn't be cookie cutter. Nothing in life should be cookie cutter. We all don't follow the same, mold. We all don't think the same. We don't act the same. So having open and trusting workplace, within that diverse workplace, the output or the outcome of whatever that organization or company is seeking is going to be that much better. As a result, a diverse talent mix can also spark greater creativity and propel innovation that can help organizations distance themselves from their competition. And I took this from Posner and Cruz, one of their quotes. I mean, it's one word, but it says a lot. It's just others. It's not about the leader himself. It's not about making them look good. It's not about, his or her business or his or her school or district. It's everyone else. It should be about everyone else. So I like this little funnel thing I created here that spits out into, one pretty much main idea here for inclusive leadership and diversity. So you have 3 things here that, mix into one. The first thing is to value and respect all individuals for their talents and contributions. So these are ways that you can, implement inclusive leadership. Increase gender diversity at the top. Now in this generation or our earlier generations, women weren't accepted in high roles. They weren't accepted for management or promotions. And now in my generation, or our generation right now, we have women that are, CEOs of companies, and obviously, Mrs. Obama, that is, conquering the, lifelong fitness area for individuals. You can Google any female's name and see that how far we have come about, getting rid of that gender role and having, whoever wants to lead, whoever can lead, do it effectively and at the right time and place. And the last thing, create a high culture by encouraging the input and initiative of all employees. Challenge them to do better, celebrating their success. As a teacher, I always celebrate my students' success. It makes them try harder. It makes them more happy. It makes school more enjoyable. It's not just, walk into the gym and let's do exercises to do them because I said so. It's I'm there for them. They're not there for me. So this all boils down to how leaders can engage in a sense of inclusion. How we can apply the inclusive leadership model. The first thing is another quote from Posner and Hughes is, recognition is the most powerful currency you have, and it costs you nothing. Okay? It doesn't cost anything to, tell someone they did a good job. Right? As a leader, as a principal, in the future, or an athletic director, or whatever the case may be, I'm going to celebrate the success of my employees. I'm going to recognize for what they have done, and even recognize things that they haven't done or have made mistakes on or tried and failed. That's the only way that the people that are working with you know that you care about them, is if you recognize them. The next thing is to demonstrate appreciation for the diversity of all your team members. Value the diversity, accept it, embrace it. Be proud of the diverse setting you have set around yourself. Leaders should hold others accountable for disrespecting behavior toward different others. Set that standard that it's not going to be tolerated that we set biases against other people because of their creed or religion, their background, whatever the case may be. If they have something valuable to add to the company or to the betterment of the district for the students, then that is what I'm going to, value them on. And I'm also going to value their background and respect them for, what they believe in. But I'm not going to hold them to any different standards because of that. Showing willingness to learn from all other perspectives. My principal around, he always says, we're on the front lines. He learns from us. We're not learning from him. He's just, he's there as a support system. We're the ones that, keep the walls up. And he's just there, to tack something in when it needs to be tacked in. Second to last, promote a common vision based on the shared values that are linked to the team outcomes. And another quote by Posner and Hughes, celebrations are the punctuation marks that make sense of the passage of time. So that's pretty much saying, if you're that boss that sits in your office and never comes out and never, celebrates someone doing something good, or, anything that, time in that job doesn't pass. It's just stagnant. It's just, the same thing every day. And that's how people, they burn out. They burn out from not being celebrated, from not being recognized. And then they end up, wanting to do something different. Ways to apply the inclusive leadership. Again, speaking about education, being that's what my main focus is. And I pretty much talking about my school in general right here. We have crossing department meetings where, a math teacher sits on a phys ed department meeting, and the phys ed teacher, I sat on, I think, a science teacher's department meeting and a social the other day. Just the fact of sharing ideas and keeping everyone focused on the same vision, seeing how students act in one class versus another class, it really helps us come together as a unit to, set that vision out there for the students, that we're all on the same page, we all have the same goals, and so that we know that, they have the same expectations of us that we have of them. Having other individuals involved in the hiring process. An example here, when I was interviewed for my current job right now, my soon-to-be co-worker, my other teacher in the physics department, she was in on the interview board. She was asking most of the questions. I think that's really important. And having other teachers involved in school functions committees. Being on 6th grade council committee, working with them and working with after-school clubs and the PTA department. That says a lot of things about the leader when they open up all these avenues for individuals to get better and to showcase their strengths. Having reverse faculty meetings. In my school right now, we have faculty meeting every Monday. Not the first Monday of the month, it's every